Prince Philip is worth more than the Queen. That's at least on the show The Crown on Netflix. It was reported executives at Left Bank Pictures, the production company behind The Crown, revealed that Matt Smith, the actor who plays Prince Philip on the show, earned more than Claire Foy, who plays the Queen on the Netflix series. This was brought to people's attention. There was pushback. The Suzanne Mackey, who runs that, who is a creative director for that production company, said going forward, no one gets paid more than the Queen. But people were upset on Twitter, like this one who said Matt Smith was paid more for The Crown than Claire Foy. So just like let that sink in. And The Crown is amazing, high quality TV, but every fan knows Claire Foy, the standout performer that made it shine, was a standout performer that made it shine. Her portrayal as the young Queen Elizabeth is a very top tour de force acting performance. No one should have been paid more than her.
So, Brett, I'm a little conflicted about this, I'll tell you why.
I'm not, I'm probably with what you're about to say.
Okay, so we're nitpicking every single show and movie. And so this person was paid that, but these are case by case. So let me explain it this way. If you're coming out of law school in your first year, basically lawyer, going into the main firms in, pick a city, Seattle, New York, DC, it doesn't matter, right? There's this, and if you're not a lawyer, you probably don't know this, but there's a standard rate that everyone gets. And it might depend on the size of the firm, and it certainly depends on the city that you're in, but it's a standard rate. If for some reason those standard rates were different for men and women, I'd be like, whoa, why? Why would you pay men more? That's crazy, or pay women more. Good luck with that, right? But that doesn't happen, and it shouldn't happen, and it used to happen, but it doesn't happen anymore, largely speaking. But if you found instances of it, you should definitely do something about it, because there's no reason for that. Whereas acting jobs are all case by case. But the reason, Brett, I'm conflicted on the other side is, these are not well-known actors. It's Matt Smith.
He was Doctor Who.
Okay.
And there's a lot of co-productions that happen with the BBC. And so it is more the London-based company. I don't know exactly where this one is, but usually it's like the London-based company that originally financed the project is like, let's look around England and find our favorite actors. And former, Doctor Who is a giant thing, and Claire Foy, they just like found her, not really, but she, everyone who's gotten their first big break has been acting for dozens of years. But he was more expensive. His quote was, in my opinion, no doubt more expensive because he was Doctor Who.
Well, see, that's important, and I don't know these particular actors and their background, which goes to the point I was making. They all have a different background, and so they command a different price. Now, but again, but I'll go back to why I'm conflicted on it, not just because I don't happen to know Matt Smith, but because it is happening awfully frequently in Hollywood. And what might be happening is the assumptions that people make about the scale that these actors are getting might be based on stereotypes that are in their subconscious, and they don't even realize it. They think, well, that's a guy that's a lead actor and should be paid a lot. Oh, actress, that's that's easier to find, and they might not realize that they're doing the discrimination. But again, having said that, it is a case-by-case basis. It's not like they're all being hired out of medical school or law school.
So with that in mind, what kinds of things can we point to kind of say, well, is progress being made? You saw at the end of Frances McDormand's acceptance speech, she did the whole thing about the inclusion rider. There have been folks out there in Hollywood who have stepped forward, the inclusion rider dies. And they are Brie Larson stepped forward, she's gonna be Captain Marvel. Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, who have been touch and go with women's issues in terms of how they're perceived in the spotlight. Feige, the guy who directed Ghostbusters, and Michael B. Jordan, who is everyone's favorite right now. And Ashley Judd called out her own agency. She said, I would like for this agency that represents her, the talent agency, that represents me to be 50-50 male, female, including all ethnicities, races, and sexual orientations. And the 50-50 needs to be included in all decision-making levels. She's taking no prisoners, which means they would have to add 2 females at the top of her agency. So she's like, all right, here's my inclusion rider at my agency. And it's the same agency that I'm pretty sure was the same agency that represented that did the deal for all the money in the world, that got money for Mark Wahlberg and not for Michelle Williams.
So I think that we're being consistent here, and I think it is a nuanced issue that we presented in that way and showed you both sides of it. Now, if you're on the side of no, this is not a real issue, and how dare they do this? Well, wait a minute now. The right wing is totally in favor of capitalism, right? Well, this is capitalism. People with leverage are using that leverage to demand certain things. Now, some people use leverage to demand Bentleys and special colored M&Ms, right? And these folks are demanding diversity. Well, capitalism, it's a bitch.
Here's just as we're talking about Netflix, the CEO of Netflix, Reed Hastings, was asked about his inclusion rider issues. And he said, we're not so big on doing everything through agreements. We're trying to do things creatively, whatever that means. But in the meantime, Yahoo reports Netflix's diversity problem extends to its own employees with no black members on its main board, which has 70-30 gender split in favor of men, and only 4% of the workforce made up of black people.
So look, I think the bottom line is we got to get there, and we have to be cognizant of the issues overall. We have to be cognizant of the stereotypes and actions we might take that are both conscious and subconscious. It doesn't mean that every single issue that is pointed out is correct, or that you have to take immediate action in, I don't know, firing half the people on these companies' boards and replacing them with other people. But now the pendulum has swung in terms of leverage, and so people are within their rights to demand that kind of diversity, and let's see where the chips fall. If you want to get the whole Young Turks show every single day, become a member, tytnetwork.com/join. And once you do, you'll be saying,
I'm like a smart person.
Or you might say,
I think it's weird.
Or you might say,
oops.
No, that won't be that one. It won't be that one. It'll be great, trust me. tytnetwork.com/join.